Number 14, the ratio of the angles measure to its complement measures is 7 to 8. Find the larger measure. So 7x plus 8x ends up equaling our 90. That's 15x equaling 90. So x equals 6. We want the larger angle, so that's 8x. So we got 8 times 6, which equals 48 for our answer. Number 15, BA perpendicular to BG. BA perpendicular to BG. Well, if things are perpendicular, they make a right angle, and then a right angle equals 90. So this angle is 90 degrees. BD trisect CBG. CBG. So this angle and this angle and this angle are all congruent. So if I consider one x, another one's x, and another one is x, and that angle is 3214. So we got to use our minutes and seconds. We want to find EBG. So we want to find one of these sections. So where do we start? We start by saying, hey, we have 90. Let's subtract 3214. Well, we got to borrow. So this becomes 8960. Subtract the 2, we get 57 degrees 46 minutes. That's for all three of these is 57 46. So what we want is we want one section, so we could take this answer and divide each piece by 3. When doing that, this becomes 19 degrees. When I do this, I get 15 and 1/3. Well, I can't leave this as 1/3. Well, I can take the 1/3 and make this into seconds. 1/3 seconds is 20, so this final answer is 19 degrees, 15 minutes, and 20 seconds. Question 16, we got angle 1 and angle 2 being congruent. Angle 3 is 50. We know that ABE, this angle right here, is 6x plus 1, and this angle right here is 10x minus 47. Well, if we notice when we look at the picture that these two overlap, so angle 3 is reflexive. So what we can do if these two are reflexive to each other, we can say, hey, angle 3 is reflexive, 1 and 2 are congruent, so these overlapping pieces are congruent, so we can say that 6x plus 1 is equal to 10x minus 47 minus the 6x over this way, add the 47 the other way, so we got 48 is equal to 4x. So x equals 12. We want the measure of angle 1. Well, what we can do is we can say ABE is equal to 6 times 12 plus 1, which is equal to 73. So this angle over here is 73, but that's 50. So 73 minus 50, I'm left with 23. So this angle is 23, which means this angle is also 23 because they're congruent. So the measure of angle 1 is equal to 23, and then we want to know, is BA perpendicular to BC? Well, if these are perpendicular, they have to equal 90, and you could take 23 plus 50 plus 23, which equals 96. So BA is not perpendicular to BC. 17, AB is congruent to CD. So AB congruent to CD. AB is x squared minus 2x. BC is 4 minus x. And BD, the whole thing, is 22. Well, what I would do is, since this is the same as this, I'd also call this x squared minus 2x. Wouldn't worry about it. These two sections here have to be 22. So I would say x squared minus 2x plus 4 minus x, set it equal to 22. I would solve it by simplifying, so I get x squared minus 3x minus the 22 this way, so I get minus 18 equals 0. Does it have a leading coefficient of 1? Awesome. So x goes here and here. Two numbers that multiply to negative 18, but add to negative 3 are negative 6 and positive 3. So this answer is 6. This answer is negative 3. Got to check to see if they both work or if one of them doesn't. Well, I look at this piece right here and I say, hey, 4 minus 6, that equals negative 2. So the positive value doesn't work. This time, once again, negative 3 works. AD, you want the whole thing. Well, you know this is 22, so plug in negative 3 here and say negative 3 squared minus 2 times negative 3. Well, that's 9, and that's a positive 6, so this is 15. And 22 plus 15 equals 37, which is AD. Question 18. The sum of an angle supplement and twice its complement is 216. Here's your equal sign. The sum means add, so we got the angle supplement. Angle supplement is 180 minus x, and we're adding twice its complement, 2 of the 90 minus x's, and setting equal to 216. Simplify this side. This is 180 minus x plus 180 minus 2x equaling 216. Simplify this side. We get 360 minus 3x equals to 216 minus the 360 over negative 3x is now equal to negative 144 divided by negative 3, so negative divided by negative becomes positive, so that's 48. Find the measure of the complement. Well, if the original angle equals 48, the complement is 90 minus 48, which ends up equaling 42 degrees. 19, an angle is 30 less than 5 times the measure of its complement. An angle is. So right there, so here's your equal sign. So we'll say, we'll put this information here. So x equals 5 times the complement, which is 90 minus x, less than that, so that's minus the 30 at the end. X equals 450 minus 5x minus 30. Add this way, so that means 6x, and this side became 420. So x ends up equaling 70. All right. So then we want to find the supplement of the angle. So this is the original. That means 180 minus 70. That is equal to 110 degrees, and we're done. And last but not least on this page, number 20, we got angle 1 is 141 degrees, 47 minutes, and 28 seconds. So that's easy because that means angle 3 is 141, 47 minutes, and 28 seconds. 2 and 4 are also the same because they're vertical angles to each other. But the problem with that for vertical angles ends up equaling adding to 180. So we'll take 180 and we will subtract 141 degrees, 47 minutes, and 28 seconds. All right, over here. So when we do that, we have to borrow. So this is 179, so that makes this 60. Still need to borrow, so 59. And this makes this 60. Subtract the 2, get 32 seconds. Subtract these 2, get 12. And subtract these 2, get 38. So this answers the measure of angle 2 and the measure of angle 4. Continuing on, we're up to number 21. We have AB and BC are in a ratio. So AB is 3x, BC is 4x. Then we also know that BC is 6x and BC is 7x. And then we know that this AB is 18x. So find the expression involving x for CD. Well, how much bigger does this get to this? So to go from 3x to 18x, I multiply by 6. So that means this 4 has to be multiplied by 6. So that becomes 24x for BC. And if BC is 24x, how does the 24x become the 6x? Well, that means you multiply by 4, so then we multiply this piece over here by 4. So CD ends up equaling 28x, and we're done. I know it's a little confusing and challenging, but that's, an upper level question that can be challenging. Next question, we want x and y. Well, what do we notice? All three x's right here make a straight line, so 2x plus 3x plus x. 2x plus 3x plus x, set it equal to 180. 3, 4, 5, 6x equaling 180. So x ends up equaling 30. We want y. Y is the vertical here to here. So 2 x's, 2 of the 30s ends up equaling y. So 60 equals y, and you are done with that question. 23. AC is congruent to EC. AC, so this side right here is congruent to EC, this side right here. BC bisects, so that means all these little pieces are congruent. So this piece congruent here, which is congruent here and here, because what do? You do like divisions. If the big pieces are congruent, all the small little pieces are congruent. So we got like divisions. But how much does y exceed x? So when you look at it, what can you do is you can say, okay, using like divisions, I can see all the pieces are congruent, so I can set x plus 8 equal to 3x minus 4, solve for x, so x equals 6. When I do that and I plug it back in, this makes this piece 14, which means this piece has to be 14, and I want this piece to be 14. So 2y is equal to 14, so y equals 7. So how much does y exceed x? So if y equals 7 and x equals 6, this exceeds it by 1, and we want the perimeter. Well, that piece is 14, and this is y, so we get 3 times 7 minus 1, so that's 20. Add up all of these pieces here, and the perimeter ends up equaling 76. 24. Give me the reason. VM is congruent to YV. MR congruent to YW. And we want VR. This is what we want. Well, what happens? End result bigger, so this is addition. Next one, we got BD bisects AE and AC. So BD is bisecting, causing these two to be congruent and these two to be congruent. But then DE is congruent to BC. So then this is smaller. So we want AE, this is bigger. So this answer is like multiples. Remember, two bisecting pieces. Either use like multiples or like divisions. 26, AB is perpendicular to BC. Well, if perpendicular, this is definition of perpendicular, causes a right angle. Right angle and right angle, so 27 is all right angles congruent because they're both right. That gives you this. This statement was given, so what are we doing? ABC here, and this angle are congruent, and then we got 3 is congruent to 6, and we want 4 and 5, so we're getting smaller, and this answer would be subtraction for 28 because we are minusing to get smaller. Rolling on to the last page, we got two bisecting pieces, so it's either like multiples or like divisions. We got ABC, this big angle here, and DEF, this big angle here. They're being bisected. We want 1 and 4. So 1 and 4 are obviously smaller. So this has to be like divisions because you're getting smaller. Vertical angles, that gives it away. So it's vertical angles are congruent, and then 1 is congruent to 4, 4 is congruent to 1. This is that idea of the transitive property where you don't have to do the substitution by converting it. These are adjacent and form a straight. So if two adjacent angles form straight angle, then supplementary. This is given 2, so then this one would be definition of supplement. Well, 3 and 4 are supplement, 3 and 2 are supplement. 3 is the same angle, so this is the supplements of same angle are congruent. Okay, this one right here would be vertical angles are congruent, and then if 1, 2, 4 and 2, 2 and 1, so we just transfer them around, so this is transitive property once again. And last but not least, the two proofs that you have to do on your own. QB bisects AQC. AQC. So these two end up being congruent. It's going to give you angles 1 and angle 2 is congruent. What else do you know? You know that 2 and 3 are congruent because of vertical angles. You know that 1 and 4 are vertical because vertical angles. So that means 3 and 4 also have to be congruent because they are all going to be congruent. So what does that look like? Well, you start with QB bisects angle AQC, which gives you, with reason 1, angle 1 congruent to angle 2. From the diagram, second reason, you know that angles 2 is congruent to angle 3. And then you also know from the diagram, same reason, angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. Well, 1 is 2, 2 is 3, 1 is 4, so bracket all these together. Up the reason 3, you can say angle 3 is congruent to angle 4 because any of them that you want are congruent. First one is a definition of angle bisector. Reason 2 is the vertical angles are congruent. And 3, we're at that transitive property. There will be one just like this on the test on your own. Last but not least, 1 and 2 are complementary, so these two add to equal 90. 3 and 4 are complementary. We want to prove that 1 and 4 are congruent. Well, what else do we know? That 2 and 3 are vertical, so let's use that comp rule. Hey, this is great. So the measure of angle 3 plus the measure of angle 4 equals 90, given. We can get arrow out and say that angle 3 and angle 4 are complementary. We also know that angle 1 and angle 2 are complementary because that's given. We need a vertical. Oh, from the diagram, second reason, angle 2 is congruent to angle 3. All three of these together, third reason, angle 1 is congruent to angle 4. There will be one just like this on your own too. Reason 1 is definition of complementary. Reason 2 is the vertical angles are congruent. And 3 is the complements of congruent angles are congruent. There is your review sheet. I know it was kind of long. Hopefully you were able to perform well at it and you will be able to perform well on the test. Good luck to you and keep continuing to study because I know you will do well if you do.